first understand how is the mind created and how it functions. So this is a blank mind that we are seeing right now here. This is pretty much when we are born. Okay. At that time, all we have is a primitive mind or the mind that has, the memories of past life. So there is no other data inside our mind except for past life memories and two fears. So every child that is born has only two fears, the fear of loud sound and the fear of falling. So, to all my audience here, if you have any other fears in your life, those are created later. They are not something that we are born with. Okay, our mind is a blank slate when we are born. So, this is what we have when we are born, is just a primitive mind. After that, from the age of 0 to 8 years, is when we are actually creating a major part of our mind. And that's what we call the subconscious mind. So, as we say, kids are like sponge, they absorb whatever we tell them. Kids are like wet sand, they can be molded in the way. That is because at this level, we do not, until 8 years, we do not have our logic, we do not have our decision making capabilities, and that's why we are constantly learning. We are learners. We are learning from the environment, we are learning from people around us, we are learning how to interact, we are learning so many things while also taking identifications and associations, and these can be positive as well as negative. Everything is come that comes in does not have to be right for us. So any association or any belief pattern that we create is giving us happiness is generally a positive association, but anything that gives us pain is a negative association. So, if we have someone who had an experience of drowning when they were young, they have created a negative association with water. While a great swimmer, a national level swimmer, will have created a positive. For them, they love water. So that's how we are creating this positive and negative association. Another good positive association that we create is, observing our parents. Like if someone needs help, how our parents react, or people around us, even our teachers, we are observing, so we might create that positive association of empathy. Similarly, we also create some negative associations, and negative associations are not harmful till they don't create a conflict for us. They are definitely not harmful. No belief, no pattern, no thought, no association is bad or good. It is only when the conflict comes into play is when we start telling that, okay, this is a negative association that we have created. So, for example, tagging children is also a negative association that we are creating, because tagging someone and, judging a child at that point is already building a image. Now they are identifying themselves and they are saying, this is the tag that I have, this is the association. So, for example, we always have this one shy child sitting in the corner of a party room, and everybody, oh, he's a shy child, oh, he's an introvert, he doesn't talk, he does not, communicate his feelings so much. And the whole environment, the whole world, our teachers start talking about it, our parents are talking about it. So, our mind is absorbing the same data day in, day out. Okay, but does this really relate to when we grow up? Are we going to be the same? Most often, yes, because that has become our belief pattern. And, to break out of it takes a lot of work. In the next slide, I'll tell you how that will happen. So we create this associations, identifications with animals, with water, with fire, and ourselves. The most important is ourselves, of what we are, because people have tagged us and show us, okay, you are shy, you are extrovert, you are intelligent, you are fat, you have a bad nose. So we have created so many associations. Even how to handle a situation when our teacher gives a tough project to us, how we communicate with our parents, to how they respond, has so much to do with it. We have created an identification and association around authorities, how to react to parents, how to react to authorities like teachers or bosses. All that is coming from our childhood, because that's what we have observed. So this is when a lot of these associations, a lot of these belief patterns are created. So this part generally happens from the age of 0 to 8 years, sometimes can be pulled up to 10 years. But after that, once we are done with this 0 to 8 years, is when we develop a critical filter. A filter which critically filters every data that we are putting in there. That is because by now we are having our reasoning, we have our decision making capability, we have developed our logic, and we have also developed our willpower. And this is when we start having problems. Suddenly the child changes and we say, oh, these are pre-teens. Now my child started questioning everything. Well, yes, she is going to question, because now they have the decision making capability. Now they have the logic. They are now a little more educated than they were when they are children, and they start questioning. And that's when parents start getting jittery. And then comes the teenage, where the child questions even more. It starts challenging the belief patterns, and then we start calling them rebels. There is no rebels, there are no preteens. It is simple that the child is exploring their decision making capabilities, their logic, their reasoning. They are trying to figure out what is right, what I should take in, what I should not take in. Now, this conscious mind that we just created with this decision making logic and willpower is created somewhere between the age of 8 to 12 years. Now, the interesting part here is the mind is created by the age of 12, maybe max 14 years. We need to understand the logic, willpower, reasoning is only 12% of our mind. The conscious mind here is only 12%. And that is what we are functioning in and day out. All the data that we put into our mind is in the conscious mind. But our reactions come from the subconscious mind. So it is identification and association. Till there is a identification, till there is a program here in our subconscious mind which knows how to react, we are going to be fine. So you see someone authoritative and you want to go to talk to them, your brain will tell you whether you should do it or not, because there is a programming behind it. How to react to someone who is in need, how to react to someone who is arrogant, how to react to difficult situation, how to react to stress. Till that data is already in our subconscious mind, there is going to be an automatic reaction. So most often, whatever data we get in, we do not respond. Okay, it's an automatic reaction. So to be in the conscious mind and start responding is where we need to come to. We need to come to that stage when we start responding to situations, where we start logically analyzing situation. And as Sailesh said, yoga meditation is one of a major part of this, because it makes you live in the present. So getting back to what we were talking about, so our conscious mind is this 12% here, but the remaining 88% was the subconscious mind, which was already created by the age of 8 years when we did not have any logic. So this is how our mind was created. And now we'll get to the functioning part. So just reiterating that 88% of our mind was created before we had any logic or thinking capabilities. 12% was developed after we had logic and thinking capabilities. So today also, if we are faced with the unknown, that unknown still goes to the subconscious mind, but we use our logic, we use our thinking capabilities, and then decide. Today, if we are faced with an unknown situation like COVID today, is an unknown situation. Our mind didn't know. So initially, we all panicked. Initially, we all panicked because our mind did not know how to react to that situation. But now, over time, we have understood. We use our logic, we use our thinking capability, we used all the input from the world that we need to wash our hands, we need to wear our masks, we need to sanitize ourselves, we need to keep our social distancing. So now we have this imbibed into our subconscious as new data of identification and association, that when a disease like corona happens, or when there's this viral spread that happens, when there's a pandemic, this is what we need to do. So now we have that data. in future, not now, 20 years down the lane, also we are faced with the same situation, our mind will start reacting. Now the question is, where is the conflict? So the conflict, this was what the mind we discussed, the conscious, the subconscious, 12% and 88%. Now where does the conflict arise? As I said, no belief, no identification, no association is good or bad until it starts creating a conflict in our life. So I'm going to show you a quick example here of a simple conflict that we quite often see around us, and that is when in a corporate environment there is a shy employee who doesn't talk too much. It's great at its work, is amazing, that does not decrease someone's capability to perform, but the manager says, hey, you know what, I need you to be a team player, I need you to communicate with your peers, I need you to communicate more with other teams because that is your way up. Now this person here consciously takes that input and it says, okay, I need to do that because that is the need. Versus now, what was it programmed? What was the program behind it? It is like a program that we set in the computer. The computer will give you output based on the program that was input. So the program says, oh, as a child, there was a program fit into his head that, oh, you are shy. Oh, you are an introvert. Oh, you do not express, you're unable to express. So this is what happens. Now the conscious mind wants to take that step ahead, wants to go and talk, but the subconscious is telling you, oh, you are shy, you are introvert, you will not be able to do it. And when this situation comes, we have a lot of other fears that our subconscious mind actually creates to protect us. Because for the subconscious mind, going and talking to someone and you being shy is a pain. It's like something new that we have not done. So our mind will start creating a lot of barriers. We'll start thinking, you'll start getting thoughts, oh, what if they don't like me? Oh, what if I make a fool of myself? Oh, what if I say something wrong? What will they think about me? What if I let my manager down? So as soon as the mind starts creating this, we get more demotivated to do things. It's our mind's way. There's nothing wrong when we start doing what if. It's our mind's way of protecting us from pain of unknown. So this is where the mind starts, oh, what if? So now we already had these labels and tags around us, and now the mind gives us even more reasons to do it, but the need is there. So what will happen to this person? First, there is a conflict between the subconscious and conscious, leading to a lot of stress of doing something that they have never done. And who's going to win in this stress competition? It is most often the 88% of the mind, because it's obviously bigger, it's more powerful, it's more potent, because there's so much data in there. It's like, I know what to do. And that's where they will start try to communicate, but their fears will stop, or they may not be as authenticate when they're communicating because there's so many fears. They're constantly judging themselves and thinking that people are judging themselves. So there's this whole conflict happening in and out of the mind every time they need to go and talk to someone where they're not comfortable. So that conflict keeps rising, there is more stress. The only time when this is going to be overtaken and when the subconscious will be defeated is when the willpower becomes stronger. And in the next slide, we will talk about how to make this willpower, or what we call it, our desire to fulfill the need more stronger than the want or the programming that is in our subconscious mind. So this was a way of telling you how simple conflicts can be so stressful for us. And we never even imagine that the stress or the conflict that we are going through is somewhere coming from our childhood tagging or childhood conditioning or childhood belief patterns. So I hope you understood well and enjoyed what we just talked about and learned something new. Now the question is, how do we resolve the conflict? Well, there are two ways of resolving the conflict, because the conflict is coming from the conscious as well as from the subconscious. Both are in conflict. So either we can resolve it at a conscious level, consciously taking effort and or we can do it at a subconscious level. So if I talk about subconscious levels, there are various therapies like hypnotherapy, imagery, age regression, inner child work, transformational hypnosis, various modalities that we can use to train the subconscious mind. Of course, needs to be done under the guidance of a mind coach, because these therapies are very potent, very very helpful, and we need someone who has this expertise to really go to the subconscious, because it's like going and giving someone your laptop to change the code. So you need to make sure that the person knows what code to feed and where to change the code. You cannot have any mistakes there. On the conscious level is something that everyone can do by themselves. It's a little longer process, I would say, but we need to take charge and the person needs to put effort by themselves, of course under the guidance of a mind coach, but it still can be done without going to the subconscious. And the next slide, we will be talking about how we do that. And this is called the 4 V's method that I have created with my experience with my various clients. So, we are going to talk about this conscious mind training and how does it work, of course. So, the 4 V's conscious mind training. This is pretty much a way of commanding our mind or putting things in our mind in a similar fashion the way we learned as children. As children, we were constantly taught the same thing over and over and over again. Like if we learn ABCD right from nursery till our senior KG, I think we almost kept learning ABC, ABC, ABCD, and that's why we know it so well today. So the conscious mind training is giving your mind same instruction consistently in the same pattern without any hiccup over time period. So we need to consciously keep giving our mind those commands. We need to have to be consistent. Most important is consistent in how we keep giving those commands to our mind. And in this training, we use a lot of NLP. We are using all our 5 senses. Our mind absorbs data amazingly well when we give it via senses, when we use all our senses to give the data in. So in the 4 V's training, the first and the foremost thing that we need to do is set a vision or a goal of what we want to achieve. And it has to be a very clear, very precise goal. And you need to work, again, the more you work with someone more experienced, they will help you really segregate your goals to understand what do we really want. Okay, so it is about setting tangible goals. And if I had to compare it with a vacation, it is the first step to a vacation where we set the destination. We definitely cannot go on a vacation without knowing where we want to go. So our vision has to be very, very, very precise. We can come with a lot of destination options, a lot of goals, but we need to focus and choose one that we need to work on. The second step to the 4 V's training is visualization. As I said, we need to use as many senses as possible. So visualization in an amazing way is creating a whole image of what we want to the tiniest detail possible. It is basically trying to bring our idea, and goals to life. So this is like a second step of our holiday planning, where we start feeling the excitement and we start planning the trip and we start thinking, oh, what am I going to do on the trip? We start making itineraries. We look at other people's itineraries and we're like, oh, okay, I can do this. I can do this. I need to do this. So I will do this. It's like a visual image of, if my goal, if my vision is completed, what am I going to do? The third is verbalization, because our mind loves words. We are all born with a nice vocabulary and everybody has a different vocabulary. So it's important to use our own vocabulary to talk to our mind, to convince our mind, this is what I want and this is what I will get. So it's a lot of affirmations there. It is about a lot of positive affirmations and how to do affirmations. It is that stage of your vacation where you have booked your tickets, your Destination is set, your excitement, your itineraries are pretty much made. You have now booked your tickets and you have started telling everyone, hey, you know what? Next month I'm going to go to so and so place. We are verbalizing, we are telling people, we are telling our mind, hey, this is what is going to happen next. This is how it's going to be. And the fourth and the most important step here is velocity. It is adding momentum to anything that you want to achieve. It doesn't matter whether the steps are small or steps are big. What we need to do is take steps in the right direction, one step at a time. But unless we take that step, we will not achieve what we want. So it's like the final step. We have booked our tickets, we have finalized our destination, we are all excited with the itinerary. But we need to get out of our house, we need to sit in the car, and we need to go to the airport or drive to our destination. Velocity is that part of driving or that journey from where you are to your destination. When we combine these four V's together in a very beautiful manner, in a very tangible manner, the results are amazing. It is feeding our mind the data that we want. And when we feed this data in this pattern over the course of around 21 days to a little longer, sometimes for some people, it goes to the subconscious level. And when it goes to the subconscious level, and consciously you're already aware because all these things are set up at the conscious level. So now our subconscious level programming and our conscious level both are same. Our need and want are exactly the same. And when need and want are exactly the same, there is no question of conflict. There is no question of stress here because we know what we want in a very, very, very clear fashion. So we have almost eliminated that conflict. We have eliminated that stress that we were going through in a very beautiful, easy, and doable manner. So, this is what I had to talk about the four V's of conscious mind training on how we can really get rid of this conflict or the stress that we are going through. And I would just like to emphasize because people are always confused, why do I need it? Who are the people who really need this kind of mind training, whether it be the 4Vs, the subconscious training, doesn't mind, but who are the people? So I'm going to give you a few of these examples of who would really come into the category. So first thing, as we discussed, and we have been discussing right from the start of this whole session, is when and where there is a conflict is when we need mind training, mind coaching. Second is where we have constant patterns. So it could be not just work related, it could be constant patterns in relationships, even work related, constantly starting something but not finishing it well, or having higher dreams but not achieving them well. Those are constant patterns. Third is our belief systems. Sometimes we have belief systems where we know are contradicting us. So we need to work on that, on coaching our subconscious mind. A third is exam fears. Yes, exam fears is a big thing for those who have kids, definitely know. Because exam fear, that exam paper is unknown. They have not attempted that ever. So it is always going to be a fear. There is always going to be a pain associated with that. And it's very easy to clear that. There are good therapies to do that. Athletic success, even corporate success, setting up goals and trying to achieve them is very easy when you start working on the mind level, when you start training our mind, that effort becomes effortless. So it's not that we never put effort, but the effort seems effortless. Stress management, again, because we just talked so much about stress, of course, it's a big thing for stress management. Anger management, because again, it's emotional conflict that's going on. Depression, it's an emotional conflict inside our head or emotional thoughts that are conflicting right now within what is real, what I want, what I need. There's too much of conflict there. Childhood traumas, self confidence, self belief can be highly raised. As I said, the shy person can be made a very confident person just by training their mind. Habit changing, addictions, All those are just our mind playing games with us. Disease management, because every disease somewhere starts with a thought and is then embedded into the body. Weight loss, yes, people who can't lose weight, again, there is a conflict there, and many, many more. So, anywhere, anytime that you feel that you want to do something but are not able to do it, is where you need to train your mind to do it. So, this is what I really wanted to convey through this session. A happy mind is a happy you, and I wish we all really learn how to train our mind to achieve whatever we want in life. It's not difficult, it's just about learning and being ready to apply it. So, how ready are you to start doing that? Is the question.